All right, you are welcome to day three of our graphic design course. Today is the day three, so we've started since 2 days ago. Yeah, so and today will be the third day of our class. Yesterday we discussed why learning graphic design. So, and I hope you learned something from yesterday's class. So in today's class, you are going to learn a lot because we have many things that we want to cover in today's class. We have many things that we want to cover. So, and I know that you really gain, you really learn a lot. Yeah, I promise you that you learn a lot. So, without wasting much of your time, let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. So, today we'll be discussing elements of design. Elements of design. That's what we are discussing in today's class. Yeah. So, you see, um, if you want to know how to do something in this life, you have to do what? You have to take your time, yeah, to study it. That's why we are going to school. Hmm? We are taking our time to learn from lecturers, from friends and your colleagues. Yeah, because you want to add to your knowledge. So, and you need to be intentional. You need to be intentional about it. So, just like what I said in the first day of this class, I told you that if you want to learn something, you have to be intentional about it. Yeah, you have to commit yourself to that thing that you want to know, because if you don't take it serious, you might not understand. So I will need your cooperation and your attention. All right. And if there is any questions, you can actually drop it on the comment section, so that I will just um answer different questions that you might actually drop on the group or on the um comment section. All right, so without wasting much of our time, elements of design. Elements of design. Now, what are elements of design? What are elements of design? The elements of design are the basic building blocks used to create any visual composition. They are what every designer combines, arranges, and balances to communicate effectively through visuals. Through visuals. Now, let me use this illustration so that you can understand me very well. Now, when we are talking about elements of design, if you want to build a building now, yeah, they are um would I call it materials or something that you will gather together, before you can say you want to build a house. You have your cement, you have your block, what again, you have your sands, you have the water and everything. So those things, if you combine those things together, you will use it to do what? To form a house. I don't know if I'm communicating to you. So same thing applies to elements of design. Before you can come out with a very attractive design, you have to combine those elements together to form a design. So those things that you combine together, to form a design is called elements of design. They are the basic building blocks that a designer used to do or to create any visual communication. You remember I told you, was it yesterday I told you about graphic design, that graphic design has to do with visual communication. It has to do with visual communication. So those material or the elements that you gather together to form a design are called what? Are called elements of design. So, and we have many examples. So we'll be taking them one by one in today's class. So the number one thing that we'll be discussing today is lines. Line is one of the elements of design. So number one is lines. Lines. Now lines are marks that connect 2 points. They can be straight, curved, thick, thin, vertical, or horizontal, and they help guide the viewer's eyes, create shapes, and express emotion or direction. Now you can see what I um what I put here. Types of design, types of line, types of line. You can see we have different types of line here. You can see this one is a straight line. Can you see this one that has two arrows? You can see one arrow is facing here, one arrow is facing here. Then we have ray, we have segments, we have parallel lines, we have perpendicular line, we have intersection. So we have different types of line. I just put this one there as some of the examples that we have. So that's one of the elements that we use in design. Yes, when you are creating your design, there is no way you will not use line. You make use of lines. Yes, so it's one of the elements of the design that we're using. So sometimes you might need, okay, you want to use something like maybe parallel line, something like this. You might need this parallel line. Sometimes you might say, okay, I might need perpendicular line in your design. So it's one of the elements that a designer uses when creating a design. Okay, so the second one is shapes. Shapes. You know, in mathematics we have different shapes. We have sphere, we have cylinder, we have cube, we have pyramid, we have cone, um, cupboard, hemisphere, and so on and so forth. We have different shapes. So shapes is one of the elements of design that designers are using to create amazing design. So shapes are formed when line meets or close. Can you see now? They can be geometric like circle, square, triangle, organic like natural or freeform shapes. Shapes help create structure, meaning, and focus in a design. Now, let's say you want to design something now. Let's say you are working on maybe let's say you are a web designer now because our work, the work of a web designer and graphic design related to each other. Do you understand? Sometimes when you are designing a website, you might need this arrow, this circle shape. You might need this circle shape when you are designing your website. Do you understand? Sometimes you might say, okay, I need this pyramid. Do you understand? So when you start designing your design, that's when you understand this thing very well. Do you understand? So as soon as you start designing your work now, you understand this better. Because of our time, let's move on to another one. Then the next one we have is color. You see this one? This is one of the most important um element of design that we have. Color is very, very important. I can use a whole day, like even seven days, yeah, to talk about this color because color is very wide. It is very, very wide, and it is something that you don't want to miss as a designer. It's something that you must know because if you want your design to be amazing, if you want your design to be attractive, you must know this color very well. Yes. So that one will now lead me to um another topic entirely so that you can understand because just like what I told you, that I want to come to your level. Yes, I want to make sure that I take my time to explain this thing to you so that you can understand it very well. So now I have one there is one material I did for color. Yeah, color, I think color theory. Yeah, color theory. This one. So let me just open it. So this is color theory. I want to use this material to explain it so that you can understand it very well. Okay, so now let's start with color theory. What is color theory? Color theory is the study of how colors interact with each other and how they are used to create a desired effect or emotion in an art and design. It includes principles for combining colors, understanding their psychological impact, and organizing them on a color wheel. Now we have the main types of colors. Yeah, we have just three main types of color. We have the primary color, the secondary color, and the tertiary color. Primary color are red, yellow, and blue. They are the one that cannot be made by mixing other color. While secondary color are green, orange, purple. Then we also have the tertiary color. Tertiary color are formed by mixing a primary and a neighboring secondary color. Now, let me explain primary color to you so that you can understand me very well. You know, I said primary color is what? Is red, yellow, and blue. Red, yellow, and blue. Yes, they are primary color because um you cannot mix two color together to form them. You understand? That's why we call them primary color. They are alone. They stand on themselves. Do you understand? So you can't mix any color with them. Now, and these are the primary color that we're talking about. You can see we have the blue, we have yellow, and we have red. So they are the primary color. Okay. Then let us now move to secondary color. Secondary color are created by mixing two primary colors. Can you see now? When you mix two primary color, you do what? You form secondary color. That's what we are saying. When you mix all these primary color together, the two of them, you mix it together to form what? To form secondary color. Now look at this example now. This is yellow and red. Now when you mix yellow and red together, it will give you what? It will give you orange. Yes. When you combine your yellow color with what? With red color, it will give you orange. Okay. Then look at this one. When you combine blue and yellow, blue plus yellow will give you what? It will give you green. Yeah. Then we have red and blue. When you combine red plus blue, it will give you purple. So those are the things that you are supposed to know as a designer. Yes, because when you start designing, these are the things you'll be using. And if you don't understand this now, there is no way you can say you want to design a good design. Am I communicating? So I've talked about primary color, I've talked about secondary color now. So let us now move to the next one, which is what? Tertiary color. Now this one is created by mixing a primary color with a secondary color. Now when you mix a primary color with secondary color, it will give you what? Tertiary color. Am I communicating now? So you combine the two of them together to form your color. So let's move on. Now look at this thing that you are seeing. This is what we call a color wheel. Color wheel. This is where you can find different color. You can see now primary color that I talked about here. Red, blue, and yellow. You can see it can be found here. This is what we call the color wheel. You can see yellow here, you can see blue here, you can see red here. So this is your color wheel. Now when I was defining color here, I said color is the study of how color interact with each other and how they are used to create a desired effective or emotion. Then I said it includes principle for combining colors, understanding their psychological impact, and organizing them on a color wheel. Now, this color wheel that we are talking about, this is it. This is the color wheel I'm talking about. You can see. Yeah. So this is where you can see them. Then we have secondary color here. This is the one I explained the other time that you can form with two of this primary color to form your secondary color. Am I communicating? Then we have complementary. This one is the color that is facing them each other, opposite each other. Can you see? That one is complementary. Then we have hue, we have thin, we have square, split, complementary. Just like what I told you that color is very, very wide. It's something that you will still need to read about. Though I will still take my time to explain, but I still want you to go and read more on it. Do you understand now? So let us now move to color psychology. You see, this one, you have to be intentional about it, because there's one thing we call color combination in design. So if you don't understand color combination very well, your design will not be attractive. Yes. So that's why I want you to listen to me very well so that you can understand me. Now, this color psychology is the study of how colors influence human behavior. Now, you don't just use anyhow color when you are designing. Those colors have what they are doing. They have what they are doing. They have their meanings. You don't just pick any color like that. And that's what we mean by color psychology. The study of how color influence human behavior, emotion, and perceptions. It explores how different colors can evoke feelings. Can you see now? Now, because of our time, let me show you one by one. The first one we want to talk about here is color red. This is color red. Now, color red stands for love, passion, strength, energy, strong, and power. Now, everybody knows the color of the Coca-Cola. Yeah, you know Coca-Cola uses red color. Yes. So when we are talking about energy, when we are talking about love, when we are talking about passion, when we are talking about strength, that's where you can see color red. So that's what it signifies. You don't just go and pick anyhow color for love. Now, during the Valentine, everybody knows that one. In Valentine, we use what? We use color red because we are talking about love. So if anybody asks you to design a flyer, maybe a Valentine flyer, you should know that you are going to use the red color for it. Yes. But if you don't understand this color psychology, you can just go and pick any color. You can just say, okay, I want to use color brown or color blue for Valentine design. It doesn't make any sense. So if you are using that color, that means you don't understand color psychology. And that's what I'm taking my time to explain so that you can understand now. So now let me show you some designs that will make you to understand what I'm saying very well. I have some design here that talks about red color. Okay. Uh, sorry. Okay. Now, okay, let me open this one. Look at this design now. Look at this design. Can you see? Look at this design. So it's talking about love. Can you see? So what color did they use? They use color red because they are talking about what? They are talking about love. Then let me show you another one. Okay, look at this one too. Can you see? This one is talking about the restaurant. Now, if you go to any restaurant, you will see this color. If you want to design a flyer for any restaurant, know that you will use this color. You use color red. You can just try it. Go to different restaurant. You see that they are using red. Coca-Cola is using red. Do you understand? So because red signifies what? Energy, passion, strength, love. Do you understand now? So if you want to use red, know what it means. You don't just use color anyhow. Hmm? So that's what color psychology is telling you. All right, let's move on because of our time. Then another one is purple. You can see this one is purple. Now this one signifies power, wealth, ambition, nobles, royalty. Yeah. Now who use this one? Who are the people that use power purple? Just like what I said. Talk about royalty. Now for maybe those people that do um perfume. You understand? All these luxury, what's it called? Now, okay, I think I have some design here so that you can understand. Let me show you some of the design. Okay, this one is purple. Yeah, color purple now. Can you see now? This one is talking about perfume, body spray, hair. Can you see now? Roll on. Those are the people that use color purple. Yes, because purple signifies what? Hmm? Purple signifies power, wealth, ambition, royalty. Yeah, that's the word. That's what I'm looking for. Royalty. Can you see now? So you can see. Then let me show you another one here. So just know that when you want to use color, they have their meaning. They have what they are doing. They are not just using color anyhow. They have what they are doing. Do you understand? Look at this one too. This is another one. Zara perfume, something like that. So that's for purple. Now let's move on to another one. This one is green, color green, color green. Now what green is talking about? Green is talking about freshness, nature, growth, safety. Yeah, that's what color green is talking about. And where can you find this one? In real estate. Those people that do real estate, they normally use color green. And for growth in agriculture, they also use what? They use color green. Let me show you some design here so that you can understand. Look at this one. This one is for real estate. You can see they use color green. Can you see? Hmm? So don't just go and be using color anyhow. Know what they mean. Know what those color mean. You don't just use them anyhow. So look at this one too. This one is talking about real estate growth. In agriculture, they use green too. Hmm? Can you see now? Color green. So that's what that one stands for. Then we also have um color blue. This one is color blue. Now color blue is what all these tech people, that's what they use most. Myself, that's my brand color. That's what we're using in our company. We're using color blue because it stands for trust. Yes, sky, sea. If you look at my brand, that's what I use. Let me show you my brand here.
All right, so I hope you understand me now. So I've talked about yellow. What's it called? Color blue. So the next one we want to discuss is color yellow. So what does this color stand for? Yes, that's what I want to explain now. Now, yellow stands for energy, sunshine, bright, cheerful, and joy. So that's what it stands for. That's what color yellow signifies. Energy, sunshine, bright, cheerful, joy. That is, it's talking about excitement. When someone is excited about something, for example, now let's say children, when children are happy and you want to design something for them, you can actually use yellow color. Yes, because that's what yellow stands for. So start from happiness, joy, bright, cheerful, and so on and so forth. So I would still like to show you this design. Okay, now take a look at this one. Can you see this one now? You can see that this is talking about what? Happiness, excitement. Can you see? So you can see that color yellow can be used to do something like this. We are hiring, join our team. You can see. Look at this one too, Women's Day. So that's what color yellow signifies. I hope you're understanding me, you're getting me. So what I'm trying to bring out is that every color has what they are passing. They have the message they are passing to people. And before you choose the color, understand that color. Understand what the color does before you make use of it. So then the next one is orange. Orange. Now, orange signifies warm, happiness, success, creative. Yes, just like the previous one I explained, yellow. This one also signifies happiness, success, creative. So, for example, let's say you start your own brand now, and you want to pick this particular color as your brand color. So you can use color orange. Yes, when you are a creative graphic designer or web designer and you want to have your own brand, you can actually pick this color. Yes. So even it's one of the color that I love most. Yeah, I love color orange because it is very clean. When you put text on it, like you can see how it is clean. Let me show you some of the design that we use color orange. Look at this one. Look at this one now. So you can see that they use color um orange for this one. Happiness. Can you see? Hmm? This is another one. Look at this one too. Thank God it's Friday. You can see. You see the way the person mix the color combination. Can you see? So that's what those color are saying. We are not just using color anyhow. We are using them to communicate because graphic design is all about communication. It's all about what? Communication. You are communicating to people. Yeah, through your color, through your text, through your images. So we don't just decorate, we communicate. So if you don't understand the elements that you are using to communicate to people, yes, you might not do it very well. You might even confuse people because people will not understand. They will not understand. And graphic design is all about communication, visual communication. So let's move on. Don't forget that we are talking about elements of design. So we've talked about the first one, lines. We've talked about the second one, shapes, color. So then I want to move to the next one now. Number 4, we have typography. Typography. This one too is very, very important. As a graphic designer, as a web designer, or as a designer, you must understand typography. Yes, you must understand it very, very well because this is what you are using to pass message to people. If you want to pass something, if you want to talk about something to people, you are going to write it and you will use text to communicate. Now, if your text is not good, is not visible, if your text is not visible, is not readable, people will not understand what you are saying. Yes, that's the reason why you must know this typography, what we call typography. You must understand how to use typography. Yes. So that's why I'm taking my time to explain so that by the time you start designing your work, you'll be able to understand everything. You'll be able to communicate to people through your design. So now typography is the art of arranging text, choosing fonts, sizes, spacing, and alignment to make content readable and visually appealing. Can you see now? This is the word I want to use. Visually appealing. That is, when you are communicating through your design must be what? Must be visually appealing. People must see it clearly. They must see what you are, the message you are passing. They must see it very clearly. Yes. Now, good typography communicates. Can you see now? Good typography will communicate to people that, oh, this is what this person is talking about. Now, I have another material that I would like to show you here to explain typography so that you can understand me. Yes. Okay, this particular material. Okay, this one talks about typography. Now, like what I just explained, I said typography is the art and technique of arranging text. Can you see now? Letters, number, and symbols to make written language clear, readable, and visually appealing. Now, I would like to show you some things here so that you can understand me very well. Let me open my Corel Draw here. Because if you don't understand this part, your work will not be okay. People will not like your work. Maybe you are already doing your graphic design, but you wonder the reason why people are not giving you jobs. The reason why you are not doing job consistently like that is because your design is not attractive. Your design is not speaking to people. Yes, your design is not communicating to people. That's why they are not giving you job. So if you understand this very well, if you understand these techniques very well, you'll be able to do what? Create a good design. So don't forget that I'm talking about typography. Now look at this place. Importance of typography. Number one, enhances readability and understanding. Can you see now? Now let me let me type something here. So you now tell me if you can see it or you cannot see it. Let me just give it let me give you this color. Okay, let me just say I am learning graphic design. I'm learning graphic design. So this is the typography I use. Okay, let me zoom it very well so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm learning graphic design. Now look at what I want to do now. So let me just change the typography. Let me change the typeface. Oh, let me just pick this one. Let me pick anyone. Uh, Let me say I pick this one now. I now reduce the size. Okay, let's just say something like this. Can you see now? Let me change the color. Let me use color white. Now look at this font that I just used now. The way you are looking at it, can you see what I write? Even if I still zoom it, let me try to zoom it a little bit. Can you see? Can you see now? So it will be very difficult for you to read it. You might not see what I'm saying. And graphic design is all about communication. It's not about you decorating something. You are communicating to people, so people must see what you are they must see the message that you are passing to them. Do you understand now? So now we don't use font anyhow because this is what people will see, this is what people will read in your design. So you must know, you must understand how to use your typeface or your font. So let's go on. I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I want to explain something to you. So I'm talking about readability, then create visual hierarchy. Create visual hierarchy. Now, it is your typography that will create hierarchy. Hmm? Now, what do I mean by hierarchy? Let me explain this one to you now. I want to change the typeface. Let me change it to something like this. Can you see now? Now, if you look at this, the name of this font is Poppins. Now you can see that it has different types. We have semi bold, we have semi bold, italic, we have extra bold. Now let us say I pick this one. Can you see now? I am learning graphic design. So I duplicate this one, then I change the font. I change it to maybe I use let me use semi bold. Can you see now? Now if you look at this, you see that this one is very bold. The first one is very bold, right? Because I use extra bold. Extra bold. Can you see? Now the second one I use semi bold. You can see that this one is not that bold like this. Can you see? You can see the difference, right? Okay, so let me duplicate this one again. So I will pick, instead of semi bold, I will use medium. Can you see now? You can see the difference. Look at this. Look at the first one. Look at the second one. Look at this one. Hmm? I'm still going somewhere. Let me try to expand it. Okay. I still duplicate this one. Now I want to pick um okay, I've used this one before. Let me use regular. Can you see now? Look at this one now. Regular. Can you see? Let me see duplicate it. Then I use the next one, which is what? Um can you see? I use extra light. Can you see now? Now this is what we mean by hierarchy. Hierarchy is the most important things, the most important part in your design. Now, if this is what you want people to see very well, the first one that you want people to see is I am learning graphic design. You must make it very bold. Can you see? You will choose maybe extra bold or normal bold. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Now, this is the first thing that people will see because this one is very bold. Now, looking at this thing now, you see that this one is very clear. The first one is very clear. Hmm? Before you now be checking the other one, you check this one, you check this one, you check this one. Now look at the last one. You can't see it clearly because I use um popping stain. Can you see? So you might not see it very well, but this one is visible, and that's what we call hierarchy. The most important part in your design. This is the most important one that you want people to see. Hmm? The other one too is not that they are not important, but they are, you don't really need them. You don't want to lay emphasis on it. You don't want people to um first notice them. This is the first thing that you want people to notice, like you want people to, to see. Am I communicating now? So that's hierarchy, and it is your font that is what that is passing that message to people. If you don't use a good font, people might not see it, they might not understand you. All right, let's move on. Build and reflect brand identity. Can you see now? If you want to talk about your brand identity, it is the good font that will bring it out. If you use a very bad font for your brand, people will not understand what you are saying. So that's what this one is talking about. Then attract and guide the viewer's attention. Can you see now? It is your font. If you use a good font, it will draw people's attention. It will catch their attention. They'll be like, wow, I love this design. It is this font that you are using that will make people to see your design very well. If you have a very good design and the font that you are using is not readable or is not visible to people, that means your design is poor. So font is very important in design elements. Then another one is that improves overall design aesthetic. Can you see now? Can you see now? That's another one. Then enhance user experience, especially in UI UX. Okay. Now, what are the key terms in typography? Key terms in typography. Number one is what we call typeface. Typeface. Now, what do I mean by typeface? A typeface is the design or style of letters. Now, let me take my time to explain to you the difference between this typeface and font. Okay. Now, I will still use this one as an example. Now, look at this. I'm learning graphic design that I type here. Now, what's the name of this typeface that I use? I use Poppins. Poppins. That's the name of the typeface. Don't forget that I said typeface is what? Is the design or letters. Can you see now? So this is your typeface. Poppins that I'm using is what? Is the typeface. Yeah. But when we are talking about the font, hmm, when we are talking about the font is the specific version of a typeface. Specific what? Version of a typeface. For example, now when you are using area, now area bold is what? Is your font. Now let me go back to this place. Poppins is the font I'm using, is the typeface that I'm using here. Don't get me wrong. Poppins is what? Is the typeface I'm using. Hmm? So now, all this property, if you go to this place now, you will see that we have Poppins extra light, we have Poppins extra light italic, we have Poppins regular, Poppin medium, Poppin semi bold, Poppin extra bold. Now, all this one are what we call fonts. They are what? They are fonts. But the name of that font is what? The name of the design, the text that you are using is what? Is the typeface. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So this one is the typeface. Poppins is the typeface. Why all this one? The extra bold, the medium, semi bold, they are what? They are fonts. They are fonts. That's why you say font is what? The specific version. The version of that your typeface. The version of Poppins that we are using. Let's say I want to change this one now. I want to change it to maybe Montserrat. Let me change it to Montserrat now. Now Montserrat. So Montserrat is my what? Is my typeface, right? So if I now want to use font, hmm, I will just go to this place. Medium, Montserrat medium is what? Is my font. Montserrat semi bold is my font. Montserrat bold is my what? Is my font. Montserrat extra bold is my what? Is my font. Do you understand now? But this one is what? Typeface. I don't know if I'm communicating to you. So that's different between a typeface and a font. A typeface is the design, the name of the um letter, the name of the text that you're using, is your typeface. Now, the version of that your typeface is what we call font. Do you understand now? The font family is a complete set of fonts under one typeface. Then we also have typography hierarchy. I think I've explained that one. I've explained hierarchy before. So then what are the categories of typefaces? Category of typefaces. We have what we call serif and sans serif. Serif and sans serif. Now, what is the difference between this one and this one? Now, serif has small strokes at the ends, traditional and formal used in newspaper, books. Example is Times News Roman. Now, whenever you see this word serif, what does it mean? It means any text that has strokes. I call it design. Any text that you see that has what? A design around it, that has stroke around it, is what we call serif. Now I will show you the example here. Let me show you an example here. Times New Roman is one of the example. Yeah, Times New Roman. Now let me zoom it so that you can see what I'm doing very well. Now look at this text. Now you can see that there are some designs, strokes, and around this text. Look at this eye. You can see how this eye is designed. Look at color, letter A. Can you see all these parts? Can you see now? That's why we call it serif. Any text that has design around it or that has strokes around it is what? Is serif. That's how we call it serif. Hmm? Because it is design. Can you see? Look at this G. It is design. Can you see? Look at this R2. That's why we call it serif. I don't know if I'm communicating to you. So then the other one is what? Sans serif. Now the meaning of this sans is what? Without. That is without serif. Without what? Without serif. And the example of this one is what we call um Montserrat. Yeah, Montserrat is one of the example. Let me show you. I think I have it here. Thank God. Look at this Montserrat now. Can you see the difference? Let me zoom it very well. See now, you can see this one has the design. Look at this eye. You can see that it has no design. It has no stroke. That is without serif, without strokes, without design. Do you understand? That's why we call it sans serif. Hmm? Montserrat. Let me pick Montserrat. Can you see now? Without serif. It does not have any stroke. It does not have any design. Unlike this one, this serif that has design. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's the difference between serif and sans serif. Now, if you now want to design something, let's say you are designing for a brand or you are designing for one company and you want to use your typography, you don't use what? You don't use serif. Where you can use serif is when you want to write newspaper. If you want to design newspaper books, that's where you can be seeing all this serif. Am I communicating? You cannot use serif in design. Let's say you want to design um a flyer. Look at this flyer now. Let's say I now go and use for this Friday now. I now use serif fonts. I use like Times New Roman. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I can't use because it will not make my design to be attractive. So then sans serif can be used. Where can we use sans serif? Can you see now? Decorative design for attention, for posters. Can you see now? For posters. That's where you can use sans serif. That is without serif. Hmm? So know the difference. Know the difference. Understand the difference. Where you can use serif font and where you can use sans serif font. And I told you that anywhere you see any text that has strokes around it is what? Serif. And the one that does not have strokes is what we call sans serif. I hope you understand me. I hope you are getting me. So I think that's okay. There is one example here. Look at this one now. Serif typeface. Can you see? Can you see now? Serif. You can see the different design around it. That's your serif. Now, sans serif without, can you without strokes, without no decorative strokes. Can you see? You can't see any decorative stroke there. So that's different. Because of our time, let's move on. We are still talking about elements of design. Elements of design. So this color and typography is very, very important too. Color is very important, typography is very important. So this is what you must understand before you start designing anything. um you must understand how to use color very well. And I think I've taken my time to explain color to you, where you can use color, the color combination, those color, what they are doing, the message that they are passing. I hope you understand that one very. And this typography too is very, very important. I've explained where you can use serif, where you can use sans serif. Okay. So then the next one is what we call size and scale. Size and scale. This element shows how big or small something is in relation to others. It helps create hierarchy, showing what most important. Now, I hope you understand hierarchy. When I was explaining hierarchy, hierarchy means the important part of uh, a thing, the most important part in your design. That's the hierarchy. Now, you look at this example now. This one is the biggest, right? This one is the next one, and this one is the next one. Can you see now? So the first one that is big, that's what people will first notice in your design. Then the second one too, people will notice this one. Then before they now go to this one. So size and scale means the way you structure, the way you organize and structure your elements in your design. That's what this size and scale is talking about. It shows how big or small something is in relation to others. Do you understand now? Don't worry, just like what I told you. When you start the practical class now, I will take my time to explain it so that you can still understand me. Okay. Then the next one is form. This element shows how big or small something, just like this one too. They are related to each other. So you might still want to read more about it. Then the last one is the texture. Texture is how something feels or looks like. Hmm? It can be rough, smooth, soft, hard, real, or visual. Example, a paper texture background can make a flat design feel more natural. And this is a testing drawing. I'm trying to show you here. The texture drawing rather. I'm trying to show you here. So by the time you start designing, you will understand all these things very well. But make sure that you read more about color and typography. Yes, because these two are very important. Your color and typography. We cannot do without them. You can't do without color in your design. There's no way you want to design, you will not use color. It's not possible. You will make use of color. And if you don't understand color combination, your design will look rough. So you can still read more about it. Then typography too. This one too. This is what will tell people about your design. The message you are passing to them. Is this readable? Is it visible to people? So know that one very well too. So I hope I've come to your level. I hope you understand me in today's class. So tomorrow will be our next class, which I want you um to make yourself available so that I can still take my time to explain because we still have many things that we want to cover. Mm? We have a lot that we want to cover. Today is day 3, right? So tomorrow will be day 4 like that. So tomorrow we'll be talking about design principles. Yes, that's what we'll be discussing tomorrow. Design principle. So if you have any questions, you can drop it to the comment section so that I can attend to you. Yes, you might have something in mind that you want to bring out or you want to talk about. Yeah, feel free to drop it on the comment section. Thank you. See you in the next class.